Hello, guys. I figured I'd record this video and tell you about my interesting trek here, which took about 23 hours or so instead of the original, like maybe 18 hours. Um, First of all, and Vic will have a bit of a laugh with this because I almost didn't make it again. And that, as I've always, get to an airport early. So I left Monroe at 1 o'clock. Then I got to JFK about somewhere 2ish. Waited at or not didn't get to JFK at 2ish. I mean, got to the Detroit Metro at 2ish. Left at 3:45ish. Arrived at 5:30 on LaGuardia Airport through Spirit. And magically, as I was arriving, Donald Trump was also arriving at the same time. And he was arriving at JFK Airport on the other side of the island. And while being there, what happens is the pilots sit there and say, well, we have some congestion going on at our airport. I'm thinking, yeah. And I'm seeing on Fox News and that a live feed going of Donald Trump walking down his steps. and that. But then the more interesting part comes. I get there at 5:30. It takes me about 20 or so minutes to walk to this designated area that is at LaGuardia for people that want to ride Uber to wherever outside of the airport. And yes, I know I could have took a metro, I could have took a bus, but I don't know how long they would have took themselves after stop after stop after stop after stop of getting to JFK Airport. And if they would even get to the right terminal. But still, okay, so did that. I requested an Uber at about 6:40 and that. So basically, I had to even find the spot where I was going to do my Uber from. I can tell you, I waited like about 90 minutes for Uber to go from where it was to where it should pick me up. Because LaGuardia has this process of going through a huge line to a few lines to a few more lines to a single line of this. And then inside of that single line, then they cross feed into 4 more lines inside of the airport. And an Indian guy ends up picking me up. And he's like, sorry it took so long, da 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 da. It's around 8 o'clock now that I get picked up by. So, I can tell you, I arrived at the airport by 9 o'clock. And I can tell you that my international flight was at 10 p.m. I was at the airport within 1 hour of the plane leaving. An international flight. I tried to check in through their kiosk, said, oh no, boarding time is done. I went to the desk and go, I just got here, yada yada yada, everything else. They ended up printing me a boarding pass and go, well, you should be a few hours early. And I go, yeah, I know. But I landed everything else at LaGuardia. You landed at the wrong airport, they say. And then I go carry my stuff, and then there's like a 300 to 400 person line in security checkpoint. I go back to the desk and I go, look, is there any way I can reschedule the flight? And they go, well, your fare is non-refundable. So I go back through this security. I left a message to my Dutch friend where I'm staying. And I go, I don't think I'm going to make it. Someone overhears the conversation. And I go, can't you just show them your boarding pass and they'll cut you straight through the line? I showed someone that works at the airport in this line that has a jacket, and they cut me through the TSA line from at the end of it to the very front of it. I was with everyone in wheelchairs that had to go first. And I can tell you, that was this is going from 9 to getting the boarding pass 9:10, 9:20. This is going through security 9:30, 9:40ish. I remember checking the phone. It was like 9:45, and I'm right at the security check. I go through there. I went through security check within 2 to 5 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. And I did not get in shoes. I basically carried everything in one hand. My coat and everything right hand, this and this and that. And I end up hearing them paging me. Hello, is there a Ricky Kane? He is late for his flight. He needs to get to the terminal. They do this 3 times. I ran in socks from where the security point was to 2 gates away where the plane was. And when I get there, I find out, and that I find out very well, that I give them my boarding pass, but it's the Oslo to Warsaw. So they know I'm me, but they need the other boarding pass. And what happens is I'm digging in like, I don't got it. I'm like, I'm sorry I made you guys wait, everything else. And what ends up happening is I'm about to really give up, and I'm like, everything. And on top of it too, when I gave them my boarding pass, they go, well, we need your passport. And I go, oh, I don't have my passport. I thought because I was such in a rush out of the security, I thought I forgot 1 thing or 2 things at the thing. And I'm like, I gotta run back. So this is somewhere 9:45 to 9:55. Flight leaves at 10 to 10:05. Then I decide to look at my laptop bag, and it's in there. I had just put everything all into one bag. And it was interesting. I'm like, I got it. I can tell you, I was so sweaty and everything else that I made it through. But I can say something. And I was prepared not to go abroad because I realized it was almost impossible, like 20 minutes in, when I saw the security line. There's something strange, and this is my train of thought, and that I don't know what it is about. It's not me traveling abroad, but the past 2 trips, it's really strange. I don't know what it is. And that there was the time when I flew in 2010, and there was the Reykjavik volcano, and I stayed in 2 weeks in New York. But that was a different situation. The last 2 trips, the one where I missed the flight back to the US in April of last year, and this trip, there's something really strange I cannot put my finger on. But it's strange to me because I'm very analytical on this. Technically, I should have not made it. And technically, last year I should have left early, but I did not make it. And it's a very weird vibe to me that it's like this weird vibe. Not sure if it's one thing or another, if another, but my point on this is if things are such in the cards, and if things are such either predestined or let's say someone is moving strings. Okay. I find it very odd because I'm thinking analytically and scientifically, and that it just happens at the exact right moment. Now, of course, I know Vic might be upset with this because this means why is Ricky getting pulled in a different direction? But I don't think it's necessarily a different direction, but me, myself, I don't know what it is. But I just always find it weird whether it's God or not God or something else, whatever you want to call it, a person opening a rat door maze, whatever you want to call it. I find it interesting that right at the last moment, it either sways one way or it sways another. And I should not have gotten through the security check. I should not have gotten put to the front because there was no reason to put me in the front of the line. But yet, magically, in some interesting way, I did. And then I ran through two gates, and when they're paging me, I go, I'm coming. But I just find it interesting that I'm not supposed to miss a flight this way, but I was supposed to indirectly miss a flight back to the US last year. But I have no clue why it happens. That's what's interesting to me about it. It's kind of a unsolved puzzle piece to me. And all I can ever kind of do when I think in this relative thought is there something I'm supposed to see or is there something I'm supposed to experience? Because I always think that certain things happen for a reason or anything else. But it makes me wonder quite a bit because a normal person, this would not happen to. But it weirdly happens to me. And like the bus also broke down 3 times after the border. And that within a 30-minute drive from the Ukrainian border to Lviv, it broke down 3 times. And besides the fact that I probably needed a shower after about 20 hours, and technically it's 20 hours, but to everyone else it would look like about 3 days worth of travel. But like it's I don't know, I can't explain it. But I should not have made the flight at all. And I didn't make it really public that whatever happened because I didn't want to bring attention to it. But at the same time, as Vic would say, be at the airport early. Even if you're 5 hours early into the city, but it's New York City. Next time, I'm gonna fly a 6 a.m. flight and not a 1 p.m. flight. But anyway, everything is good here, Lviv-wise, in that there's a lot of video stuff that I'm making on the side that I want to upload as kind of like somewhat documentary, somewhat this or that of explaining culture, besides doing work. and everything else. And for Bob, I texted your new number. I texted your new number. Message for you and that. But eh, it's just interesting how life goes, I think. But that's me. And that is your regular scheduled broadcast of a man way across the ocean. No clue what else to say, but I will talk to you guys later. Enjoy the videos and all the stuff that I post. And that it's a bunch of random stuff that I see that I think is interesting.